So now we are all set now to go on with the airbrushing on the cake. I have the image for reference and then all the templates that were cut, and this is the airbrush machine. So usually it comes with one tube that connects the airbrush machine itself, and then you have a gun, and usually the trigger point of this particular airbrush machine is here at the bottom. So you trigger this like a gun, and then the color will start spurting out from this tip. Okay, and this is the place where we will be adding the color. So there are quite a few different kinds where maybe this cup is just attached here on the top, and then there are also wireless airbrush machines, and anything could pretty much work a similar way, because we are going to do the basic airbrushing, and there are advanced ones where you could just go on paint intricate lines and stuff like that. We don't need that much for the level of airbrushing that we will be learning. And so if suppose the trigger is somewhere on the top here, then I suggest to use all the 3 fingers except the index and then the thumb to hold the bottom of the machine, and use the index to trigger on the top like that, and so you have better control when instead of holding like this and trying to pull the trigger is like extremely complicated, at least for me, to work on like that. So if the trigger is on the top, use these 3 fingers, so the holding position will be like this. So use it like this and then keep your index on the top, and that way it's more like using your pen or a pencil to go on to airbrush. And after that, because the trigger is here, I'm going to hold again using these 3 fingers together with the thumb, and then use my index here and then keep pushing this at the back and then start going on. And so if there is another wire on the machine, and that all of this could be plugged out and then plugged in after you've just done using it, and this is the electrical one that goes into the power, and once that is switched on, and there will be another button here on the machine, and once you switch it on, then the motor starts running, and after the motor runs, then if you pull the trigger, right now there's just a bit of leftover water from cleaning the the machine itself, and once that is over, and what I have here is just some air coming out. You just need to see that there's a pressure that is coming out of it, and that's when you know that the machine is working. So you can just keep it off the times when you're not actually going to trigger, and when you're ready with all the colors that are poured, then we'll just start the machine. I'm just going to set this one aside for now. I'm just going to use the templates one after the other. I'm just going to set them aside for now. So I've just numbered them, and then I've also added another arrow, just in case if there is a confusion, which way should I face up, and then you don't have to keep thinking which is the right way. So I just made an arrow. And I also have one extra template, which is just, there's no cuts at all. There's just the line that I drew to make a marking. This is just the same size as this template. I'll tell you why I have that one. So now the template here, which is like there are no cuts at all. Like I said, there could be a little difference, right? Now all the rest of the template are just cut keeping this as the size. Now because there is the extra fondant thickness, and so there is going to be a bit of border. Now I'm just going to place this and then airbrush the border first. So then all the rest of the template and the colors that we are going to add will come in within that border only. So my first airbrushing is just going to be by placing this entire thing covering up on the top, and then I'm going to do the same shade all over on the sides as well, and I just want to keep that black. Okay, And so let me just set this one aside for now, and the colors that I am using are airbrush colors itself. Now if you do not have airbrush colors, any liquid color will work too, or if you have only the gel colors at home, you could add vodka or non-alcoholic spirit, cake decorating spirit from different other brands that are available, and you could dilute the gel and mix it up well, and but you need to sieve that using a muslin cloth. So the gel, even if you're going to mix it up with the liquids like the vodka or the spirit, there could be like smaller bits of the gel that is going to clog your gun, and that is very important. You cannot do that, because if it clogs, then it is a bit difficult to clean up your gun. So if you are having only gel colors, and if you have to only use to thin your gel colors to airbrush, then use vodka or the spirit to mix it up to get to the shade you want, and use muslin cloths to sieve it, and whatever gets collected is like a clean colored liquid, and that you could use it into the machine for right now. And I'm going to use the airbrush colors itself. Also, airbrush colors are quite accessible these days. So if you're sure about going on with airbrushing, you could have the basic airbrush colors, like even in a smaller bottles also should be fine. I'm also just going to have some tissues, and they'll come in handy to just check on what color we just have on the machine, and whether we just flushed out the color from the previous shade. So we just don't want to think that there is black in it and then go directly onto the cake and then start spraying, and then you just kind of find red coming out, because red was the color that was previously used and maybe it was not washed. And even if it is washed, we are going to wash it all the way till here, and there could be color just stuck up here in the gun on the way, and that is the one that is going to flow out in the beginning. So you have to have a tissue to just go on and then spray to figure out what is the shade that you want, and if that starts coming out of the gun, and that is when we will move on the cake. I'm just going to open the lid, and if yours doesn't have the lid, it doesn't matter. So I've just poured quite, not too much, but I'll see if I'm just going to just run out of color as I'm spraying. I could just come back over this and then pour it again to spray. I'm just going to cover the lid, and I'm going to switch on the machine. I'm just going to use a tissue. So that's quite perfect for me to start with. I'm just going to get the cake in. Just going to hold the sheet, and I just don't want it to keep moving. So my first goal is to start spraying here on all the four sides, and then on the top, and then I'll just go on the sides. So I'm just pulling the trigger, and at one constant pace, making sure I'm just not moving my hand much. So pull the trigger and just keep moving. Pull the trigger, and then staying at the same place will just kind of give a very strong blotch. The color will be too concentrated there. So you just need to kind of keep moving your hand. So that is done. I'm just going to start moving on to the sides. Keep moving your hands just from left to right. or you could also do a circular motion like how I'm doing right now. And now the color stops coming out, and then I know I just need to pour in some more. Close the lid. Move on to the other side. So I'm all done with this shade, and I'm just going to gently get this template out. Okay, so then now we have that one plain area. Now this template, if you have to reuse, or if this is going to get like a signature art on the cake, then you could reuse the templates, wash it and then clean wipe it, and then you will be ready to use that over and over again. Okay, so now then obviously it is a better idea to have like a sheet of paper, and before you start doing that, or then you have to like kind of get it scrubbed out to clean this part. Now what I'm going to show you next is how to clean before getting on to the next color. So obviously have a little bit of the black shade in. Though the gun just said there is no color, it couldn't just flash out anything. You have some leftover color in there. I'm just going to pour some water. Just have this, maintain this clean water all the time, and just wash it out. Yeah, and then just pour some water in, and close the lid, and switch on, and then close this the tip of the gun, close it well, and then pull the trigger. Now what this will do, it will just kind of bubble up it, because the water from there will come all the way till here, and we are not allowing the color to come out in just closing it. So it will kind of bubble up inside, and we'll have the water cleaning up this part of the gun as well. And then once that is done, you just add the water in, and then get the tissue and start flushing out. So obviously the black would come, and slowly the intensity of the black will reduce, and then just the water will start coming out. So you need to keep doing that until you have no color coming out of it, and that is when we can move on to the next color, because our next color will be yellow, and we don't want black to be on yellow. So now if you know that it is all going to be a bit of black, at least we need to pour this water and add in some more. So now we see just the water starts to come out. So we are just good to go. Start using the next color. So we'll be doing that after changing one color to the other. So this looks good. So pour off the water, because all I need is to add yellow for my next shade that I need to use. So I just cleaned up the space and I have my craft mat. So in case if the color spills out, then you could just wipe it quite easy. So that's my first template, right? I don't need the top one. It's just for me to know if I'm just placing it all right. I'll remove this one. I place the one there and I will align this with a black frame that I just created. I'm just having my image here just to keep it as a reference. Okay, and then for this I would need yellow. So what I'm going to do to get the gradient is just start with yellow and then completely make the entire space exposed to yellow shade of airbrush, and then I'm just going to top the yellow with little bit of orange and then get the gradient, and then entire thing will become orange as well, just leaving the top part. And then I will add some more orange into the same mixture, and then I'm just going to get a darker tinge of orange just above the mountain, and that way I'll just start giving the gradient into one space that is exposed with 3 different shades of airbrush that I keep mixing and then adding it on the cake. So into the gun that has already been washed, I'm just going to start picking up yellow. Just make sure that this just doesn't fly away. Okay, and if we know that we're just not going to use that area for any brushing at all, then just could add little bit of shortening and then stick this over there, so it will just stay there and not fly away. I'm just going to get to just be on the safer side. I'm just going to take a little bit of a shortening. Let's add it behind this. And I'm doing that only because I know that I am not going to brush anything on that particular area. But this one I'm just going to hold, and that is going to stay there, and I'm just going to start doing the yellow right from the top and then come all the way till the template ends. And before any color goes on the cake, we just need to do the testing. And only after the color starts coming out, you will do it on the cake, holding this template in place. Okay, so that yellow is done, the templates are in place. Now I'm just going to open this out, add a bit more of the yellow because it would have gotten over, right? Some of it would have just got emptied. And then a little bit of orange. And now to mix up the colors, like 2 colors were added in now. So I'm just going to hold this tip and then pull the trigger, and that way it will get mixed up in there. So let me check the shade. You can see there is the mix up of orange and then the yellow that we added there. So I'm just going to leave out a little bit of yellow on the top and then start from here and then gradually come down all the way. And into this, I'm going to add more orange. Close the lid, close the tip and mix it. Let's see what shade we have. So that's a bit darker shade. So I'll leave some of the second shade and then go on from a little below. Just add more orange, or I could just now try to use just the orange, for which I will pour out the mixture of yellow and orange, because I don't want that. I don't have to waste that as well. You could just keep it aside, and then if you're able to save it, you could use it up for the next time. So just the orange, but I just need to flush out. Let's see what comes out. So that I'm just going to do at this end. So I'm not going to start from there. I'm just going to go ahead just above the mountain. Okay, now just comparing with this picture. So this is the darkest shade, right? And then see the lighter tone is just here in the middle, and the topmost there is a bit of darker shade. So I'm just going to go back to using the third shade that I just kept it aside right now. Check the shade. Just a little bit, only on the top, just above the sun or the moon, the circle disc that is there. Okay, so that much, which is like not too much, it's not darker than what is here. So with this, the sky part is over. So I'll just go clean this up and then fill it up with the blue, and then I'll have this to dry for some more time because there is the liquid that is applied on top. And now we need to place another template, which is my second template. And before we place that one, we want this color, which is obviously it could be an evaporating liquid as well, but we just need to allow some time because there is like 3 layers of colors that is gone in at the darker area of the orange. So let me clean up and then come back once this shades are all dried up, and then we just place this particular template on top. I'll also get my blue color filled for doing that mountain, and we just start doing the second layer of the airbrush. So I have cleaned up and then rested for a while. I'm just going to remove the template. And now the next template would be this one, which will hide the entire sky that is now airbrushed, and it will just leave out space only for the light blue mountain. and the bottom is also sealed up. So everything else will be covered. So maybe at this stage you will know why we have to take in so much efforts to just cut out the templates with all the details, keeping them in mind. Okay, so now that is a washed airbrush, and into that, for this I'm just going to use a Hawaiian blue. Any light blue would do. I'm just going to test the color out. So this is starting to come, and only after then I will go on the cake. I just hold the template in place. I'm just going to be a little far away from the cake, so I just need to have a very light tone. So if you look at the picture, so there is the light tone here, and then on the tip of the mountain there is a darker shade. Just want to keep quite light first, and if possible I could just give some gradient as well. So just be a bit far away. I'm just going to keep the bottom pretty much lighter, and then just go on the top. So there is the lighter tone at the bottom. So into this I just want to do one layer of even more darker shade. So to the Hawaiian blue, which is the light blue, I'm just going to add one drop of royal blue. Just close the lid and mix it up. I'm going to see what color comes out. Just add one more drop of the royal blue, or it's just going to look like it's the same color. I'm just going to close both. So just a bit on the outside. I'm going to go over the outline here. So now this looks good. I have the gradient coming down from the lighter tone to the darker blue. I'm just going to allow this. I don't want to remove the template as well right now. Allow it to dry and then clean up the machine, and then I'll get back once I'm ready to go into the last, which is the second layer of the mountain, but that is our third layer. I'll just get back when I'm ready and this is all dried up. So it's been drying for some time. I'm going to remove off the template, and for the next layer I have the third template. So this is my scope. So this is the only exposed part for the dark blue mountain. So I'm just closing up on the rest with the template that is made. I'm just going to add royal blue, I'm just going to check the color, flush out the sky blue and then wait for the royal blue to come out. I'm just going to go throughout and get that first shade. Just going to make sure. Here I am going to paint, so I can't stick that part with the shortening. So this I need it anyway darker, so I'm just giving a few coats. And I want it even more darker than that. So to darken up the royal blue, I'm going to add one drop of black in it. Just going to mix up the colors. Let's see if the blue has darkened up or not, or then I will just add some more black. It looks like it has gotten a little darker. Now I just want to add the darker version only on the top half and leave the bottom with the lighter blue. Then I'm just going to further add another drop of black. Try the shade out. This is going to do only on the top, just following the outline of the template. So this looks good now, so you can actually see gradient variation when that is going to be quite light in color, and then now the darker version will be there just on the top, and again there is a gradient there. Now you can see like there is quite a bit of the droplets, and at least we want this part to be completely dried before we just go on to painting the rest of the details. So I'll just wait there, get it cleaned up, and then I'll come back and meet you when I'm ready to move on to the next step. So now it's kind of dried up now. I've also cleaned up, removed all the templates. I'm just going to remove this. And get this out as well. So now I have the space here to do the river part, and then I'm just going to do the bush and then the trees and some more of the trees here, and that I'm just going to do it by painting it. Okay, so start with a bush. Just have a plate. I'm just going to use some sponge to just dab and create the bush. You could just use the airbrush colors itself, or you could use gel color also, it doesn't matter. That's some green and some black. I'm just going to test the color to see what I have, what kind of green I have. So I'll just go with this one. So these are some of the brushes which has the sponge attached on the top. Depending on the size we want, you could just use that to dab and do the sponge painting, or you could just get some the bricks of sponges are available. It's just a small cut piece from the bigger brick shaped sponge. So these are just regular sponges. So I'm just going to dab the color, okay, and then see how much of the color the sponge could take. I'm just going to test it out. So you don't want like too much color to go. We could add more color anytime, but to just remove it off the space could be a little difficult. Let me just do one smaller triangle here. So this green could be enough. I'm just going to add all the black and just make it a darker green. To add in some more black. Just make it a bit more darker here on this end. It's going to drop in some white. Drop in some white. Just removing the excess. I'm just going to just touch upon a little bit. Just allow that bush be there, and then the next thing I could do is to use the same color to just because it's dried up, continue to actually use that. That's some vodka filled in a bottle. Just going to add a little bit of it and pick up a brush and just get these colors together. Let me check what color it is, but obviously there is some green and some black is also added to it, right? Let me just test the color. It seems quite fine. I'm just going to get some trees, like maybe I'll just do 1, 2, and then maybe 3. I just stop with 3 trees. Adding some more vodka to just make it lighter. This will add some more color, so it's just not too light, the tone of the color. I'm just going to do the branches. Just come back to fix that up a bit. I'm just going to keep increasing the width of the branch. It's okay if they are going to overlap. So trees, I'm just going to stop with that. And we just have the trees, the darker lines there, which just actually looks like grass, but they are the trees that are quite far away. Okay, so that part is also done. We have one last step done, which is this river side. So I'm going to grab another brush. I'm just going to pick up the light blue Just also going to have some white. Then some vodka. Just going to grab a broader flat brush. Going to mix it up with white. First I'm going to have the light shade fill up. And just go even lighter. So more white. To wash the brush. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the blue and some vodka. I'm just going to thin it down and not make it white. And then add it just on the edge here. It's like pretty much too dark. Let me start with white. And then dark part here at the end. A little bit below here. You're just trying to keep that white, the reflection of the lighter tone here at the bottom. I'm just going to have, because that is a darker tone, just going to have one drop of royal blue as well. I'm just going to merge them all, so just cleaned up. So then to add a little bit of black under that, I've just picked up some more black. And that, let it not keep it like just the black. Mix it up with blue, and that is when it will blend together. So that is just one part, and then a little bit here as well, just to note that we have the darker tone. I'm just going to have everything merged. I'll just leave that water body side. I'm also going to carry this black a bit with the green trees that I just made. So because that is not in a different shade, it has to kind of merge with the line where that water body ends. So let that green be there, that should be fine. We're just adding a little bit of this extra, so the black along with the blue lines as well, so they kind of go together well. So now, so that part is done and good. And here I just want to add some of the green with the sponge itself, so we can hide the part where the river and the green. It's just that we don't want to show that we just abruptly stopped the water. Okay, I think this looks good. So we just kind of ended up doing both the airbrushing with the gradient shades and a little bit of hand painting as well. And obviously in airbrushing, to get all the details, like imagine we had to just get some templates to do the grass, and that is like quite tedious. And so we could just come to terms with, we just create the gradient shades on the background, and most of which, like say maybe there was a hut or a boat or something. If you feel like intimidated by hand painting it, obviously you can have your templates cut. So but here we just ended up painting the bush, the trees, and then the river as well, which pretty much looks good and adds up a little more depth and detailing to the airbrush cake, because everything without having to touch and create that texture with the sponge painting and all that obviously will make it look quite flat according to me. So the airbrushing done on the square fondant cake with a little touch of painting. We've come to the end of this lesson. I'm looking forward to you guys working with your own inspiration, and after every approval to the support group, and you could make your own airbrushed cake on the fondant. So obviously you will be doing the ganache of the cake and then drape the cake with fondant, do the sharp edges, and then have your templates all ready. Go on and do the airbrush, and I'll see you in the next lesson.